Yo guys, how's it going? Welcome back to a brand new COD mobile video. I am your host Papa Zcon. As you all can see by the title in this video, I'll be showing you my top 10 gunsmith classes that I will be using in season 2 of Call of Duty Mobile. Alright guys, so firstly we have the Rust 79U, and this I believe is on all my top 10 gunsmith builds. It's one of the most versatile guns in the game, and even during a assault rifle meta, the Rust 79U still has its place. So this is actually my build from season 9. This is one of those classes that I just didn't think needed a change. So firstly I am using the YKM Integral Light Suppressor. I am also using the YKM Combat Stock. I was using the no stock at first, but then I decided to put on the YKM Combat Stock because it's a lot easier to control. I am also using the granulated grip tape for ADS bullet spread. I am also using the 38 round extended mag. Finally, I am using the OWC laser, which as I said is pretty default on most of my builds. So up next I have the GKS, and I want to say the GKS is actually a pretty viable gun to use this season. This is actually my main gun to use last season, however I'm more drifting towards assault rifles now, but I still do use this, and this is actually still one of my top guns to use. It's actually pretty similar to my Rust class. I am using the YKM Integral Suppressor, so it is a silenced build. As you can see, a lot of my builds are silenced. I am also using the YKM stock, granulated grip tape, and I'm also using the 40 round extended mag, and I'm using the OWC tactical lasers. So as you can see, these combination of attachments do pretty well on SMGs, because I do use this for my Rust 79U and my GKS, and both of those I would say are my top 5 guns to use. Next up I am using the FR556, aka the FAMAS, and if you did see the top 5 videos, this was actually a gun that was on it, and I spoke about how very underrated this gun was, and it can do some really serious damage at range, especially if you can, control that recoil. Let's get into the gunsmith either way. So again, this is a silence build. I'm using the monolithic suppressor for damage at range, and it's a silence build. I'm also using the YKM suppressor to increase the ADS time, because like most of my assault rifle builds, I wanted to run as fast as possible around the map. For the ammunition, I'm using the extended mag A. I'm also using the strike foregrip and the OWC laser, which again is pretty default. Now the LK24 is pretty much one of the most balanced guns in the game. Every time I make a video on the LK, I always say that, and I always say that as soon as COD Mobile actually decides to do something about these 3 tabs, then we will be seeing guns like the LK get used a lot more, but for now it is still pretty decent. So this here is my build. I did show it in my top 5 assault rifles video, and I just want to clarify something really quickly. Someone made a comment about this LK24 build. This is actually not the first or second time of me showing this on the channel, and I did say that this was not my build. Slothy from Tribe actually gave me this build. The first time I did make a video on it, I did say it was a pretty weird build, but here it goes. So I'm using the monolithic suppressor. I'm also using the red dot, no stock, OWC laser, and the 40 round extended mag. So but I mean, this is pretty OP, and this right here is my main scrim class. Next is the QXR, and I have to say the QXR is actually a hidden gem. I think my last video was on the QXR rolling steel. This was actually my first time using the QXR. Seriously, I did not know that it was actually such a OP gun. This is one of the top 3 SMGs in the game right now, and the QXR currently is my main go-to gun. As you can see, this again is a silence build, as most of my builds are. I'm using the monolithic suppressor. This is actually gonna give us damage at range, and of course a silence build. I'm also using the granulated grip tape for improved accuracy. I'm also using the fast reload ammunition, because the QXR actually has a fast firing rate, so the rounds will run out pretty fast. For the laser, I'm also using the OWC tactical laser, and for the perk, I am using the enhanced bolt, which does increase the fire rate, and as I said, this is actually pretty OP. This is very good for running around maps with ear stealth and being unnoticeable. Up next is the QQ9, and the QQ9 is actually a pretty decent SMG, especially at close range. It was given a lot of changes during this mid-season patch notes. I should have them on screen right now, but the QQ9 is definitely a lot better, and we can definitely see it being used a lot more this season. So let me just go into the gunsmith. I actually have 2 builds for the QQ9. So firstly, I am using the RTC Recon Tac Long, and I use this on all my QQ9 builds because the range on the QQ9 was actually a huge problem for me. So I'm also using the no stock so I can move around the map as fast as possible. OWC laser, as I said, is pretty default on most of my builds, and I'm also using the strike foregrip for this particular build. Now it's actually because the Q-Can got buffed, I decided to use the 10mm because I normally use the 45 round. So let me show you the build that I actually do use the 45 round. Alright, so here is, guys, this is my build where I use the 45 round. As you can see, it's basically the same. However, I replaced the strike foregrip with the RTC light muzzle brake, and instead of the 10mm round, I use the 45 round extended mag. Up next, guys, is the newest gun that was released, which is the AS Val. I did make a dedicated video on the AS Val. Hopefully I remember to put it in the cards right here if you want to go and watch it. And when I made that video, it was actually before the mid-season update when the AS Val got buffed. I actually was using the AS Val earlier today, and this thing was so good. So I will be putting the changes that were made to it on screen right now so you can see exactly what happened. So let's get right into the gunsmith either way. So I am using the MIP 200mm mid-range barrel. As I did say in the video on the AS Val, you will get in troubles at long distances, so I wanted to make up for that as much as possible. I'm also using the RTC steady stock, and this will decrease the hit flinch and the horizontal recoil a lot, but the hit flinch was really what I was focusing on because with it having a pretty high vertical recoil, the hit flinch was just pretty uncontrollable even while using the toughness perk. I'm also using the large extended mag B. Even while I'm using the extended mag, sometimes I have to reload after every fight. And I'm also using the strike foregrip, vertical recoil control, ADS bullet spread, and the default of which of course is OWC laser. Next up is the DRH, and the DRH is, it is to what it is. Still a powerful 3-tap, especially good at mid-range and close range. It's still pretty good. It will get some sort of challenge at long range, but regardless, it's still a 3-tap, so still OP. And again, this is still my same default build because if it's not broken, why fix it, right? I'm using the OWC Ranger for damage at range and ADS bullet spread, and this will decrease the ADS speed, but we will make up for that. I'm also using no stock again because I want to run around the map as fast as possible. I am also using the granulated grip tape for ADS bullet spread, the 30 round OTM mag. I was using the 25 round the last time I showed this build, I believe. And finally, I am using the OWC laser, and this is currently one of my top 3 builds to use. I use this in like every other game or something like that. I am not a fan of these 3-tap weapons, however I cannot downplay how OP it is. So if I'm going for nukes or something and I want like a easy nuke, I just pull out my DRH. Next up on the list, ladies and gentlemen, is the Man-O-War, and yes, the Man-O-War actually did get a nerf during the mid-season update, but regardless, it is still a good gun. I still believe that it is still one of the top 3 guns in the game. They did do a bunch of stuff. I will be putting it on screen right now. The main thing that I noticed while playing with it was the increase in the vertical recoil. However, the Man-O-War, I would say, is still pretty viable and it is still OP, still a 3-shot gun. COD Mobile definitely isn't gonna kill this before they release the legendary version, so let's jump into it. This is actually my default Man-O-War class because if it's not broken, why fix it? So I am using the RTC huge suppressor. Of course, this thing is basically beast at range. I'm also using the MIP light barrel so I can improve the ADS time as quickly as possible. I'm also using the 30 round extended mag. The default Man-O-War does have 25 rounds, which everyone should know by now. I'm also using the strike foregrip. I don't quite remember why I put the strike foregrip here, but with the increase in vertical recoil since that past update, then the strike foregrip will actually be pretty effective. And finally, I am using the OWC laser for ADS time and increased ADS bullet spread, which is just awesome. And guys, finally, how could we make a top 10 gunsmith build without adding a sniper into it? So this here is my DLQ build, pretty default ADS DLQ build with MIP light, OWC skeleton, FMJ, the OWC laser, and because I had an extra spot, I just decided to put the bipod on it.